And is this going to be live or is it going to be pre-recorded?
It's pre-recorded.
Oh, good. Far less chance of me making a fool of myself then.
Oh, no chance of that.
It's Kerrang, it's the night before. My name's Nick Margerrison. How the hell are we? Right, you know when you get one of those emails in your inbox and it says, hello, I'm the king of all Africa, and I need your help desperately. I'm put in a concentration camp. I've got millions of pounds in the bank, and all I need is your bank details, and I can put those millions of pounds in your bank. You know those emails? Lots of people get them, it's not just you. And they're not true either, they're right. And, well, there's a name for them. People call them 419 scams. And there's a guy who we're going to talk to now called Calvin Huckle, who deals directly with these scammers. He replies to the emails. Yeah, he rings them up and says, yeah, cool, I'm up for that. Here's all my bank details, let's go. And he's on the airwaves now. Calvin Huckle, how's it going, man?
It's going great.
So you actually respond to those mad emails that tell you that the Prince of Siberia needs your bank details?
Yes, and then I give them, of course, false bank information, though plausible information, and it wastes their time, and if I can, I always have them call, because adding the cost of long-distance phone calls to their scams is definitely worth the time to do.
So, okay, so why is it called, right, your website's called 419hell, why is that?
It's 419hell.com because 419 is the type of scam that Nigerians use. 419 comes from the penal code of Nigeria, and that's the code for fraud there. So 419 is the general name for a scammer, and so 419 hell, the idea is I'm putting them through hell.
So are most of these emails, these spam emails that people get, are they mainly coming from Nigeria then?
Yes, about 95% are either from Nigeria or from somebody who's from Nigeria. Sometimes Nigerians will move to Europe or to the United States and from there scam people. But yes, 95% of all the 419 scams that you receive are from someone who's from Nigeria.
And it amazes me that do people actually fall for these things? They get an email asking for the bank details and they just send the bank details.
Unfortunately, yes, it is a huge problem. Billions are stolen every year, and if you go to my website, 419hell.com, you can actually hear my interviews with victims who I was able to warn. I was able to get information from the 419ers, the scammers, and they gave me information about their victims, and then I called up the victims and told them that it was a scam, and you can hear their stories on the website.
So let me read you something from your website here, which I think kind of sums it up, which I think is great. Simply answering these bogus emails whilst using a fake name and feigning interest in their ridiculous scams not only prevents scammers from hurting real victims, but it is also tons of fun. Give us an example of some of the fun you've had with people who are trying to rip you off for massive sums of cash.
I have. There's so many that I've done now that it's hard to pick a favorite. One of the best that I've had was Michael Bolton. Again, it's on the website 419hell.com, and he gave one of his BS stories where there's millions of dollars at the end of this imaginary rainbow of his, and I went ahead and I emailed him back pretending to be a fellow scammer. I used a translation device that allows me to talk like a Nigerian. They have a language that's a little bit like the Queen's English, but just off. Anyway, I emailed him back and pretended to be a scammer, got him into my confidence, and had him give me information about some of his victims. And then I would call up the victims and warn them not to fall for it, and then I would blame the result, the victim not falling for the scam, on his incompetence, and then he'd send me more victim names. I was able to do this to, I guess, over 20 people so far, and that's the scam that I'm most proud of. That was the one that I was able to hurt the scammer the most, and of course help the people from not falling for the scam.
So you get an email of someone, you reply saying, hi mate, I'm a scammer as well, I'm trying to get money out of these people, and then you get a rapport going, and then you say, oh, who are some of the people you're trying to rip off? And then when you contact those people and say you're being ripped off, you to get back to him and say, what the hell is wrong with you? You're messing this up. You've gone and exposed yourself to this.
You're right. You got it just right. That's exactly what I do. Always blame the scammer for their incompetence. And these people are horrible men. One time I was pretending to be a victim, and I told the scammer that I was a 10-year-old boy. And at first he was a little disappointed because 10-year-old boys don't have a lot of money, but then he found out that I in fact do have some savings, and he had no problem with trying to scam a 10-year-old boy. I then got him on the phone, and I pretended to be a 10-year-old boy with a fake voice. Again, this is on my website, one of my voice recordings on the website, and I talked like this, like a little boy, and it fooled him. He believed that I was a 10-year-old with a lisp, and he had no problem stealing money from a 10-year-old boy.
Man. So, what's the most elaborate bit of dicking about that you've indulged in?
I pretended to be the leader of a church called the Holy Orc Church. Orcs are those green monsters from Lord of the Rings. And I told him that I was from the Holy Orc Church, and gave him lots of assignments for him to do in order to convert to my church. Again, this is all part of his scam. He belonged to another church that was looking for funds. I said, well, if you want our funds, you're going to have to join our church. And I had him stand with his whole congregation and hold up a sign that said frequently asked questions. And then I used that on my website, on my frequently asked questions page.
So you said to him, yeah, man, we'll give you some money if you just convert to the Holy Orc Church.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, I'm bang up for that.
Oh, and I have one where this would be a good one for your audiences. I had a phone sex with a woman/man who was pretending to be in love with me because she saw my picture on a Calvin Huckle's pictures on a website for a dating website, and she just fell in love with him. So of course she called up, and we had pretend phone sex where I pretended that I needed her to make cow and pig noises and chicken noises because I had a farm fetish. So she went on with all these different noises. Oh yes, baby. Yes, I like that. Make a pig sound now. And well, anyway, I made her do this humiliating routine. And one of the things I asked for her to send me was a picture of her holding a sign that says, "Is this a scam?" And then I used that for my website on the page where I give advice to people who are wondering if their emails are scams or not. And it says, "Is this a scam?"
So she was she wanted to marry you as long as you gave her all your bank details.
Right, and she wanted to come visit me and give me lovin', I guess, farm lovin' too.
So you had phone sex.
Mm-hmm. Well, pretend phone sex. I pretended like I was having phone sex. But despite what you hear in the recording, I was not touching myself the entire time.
So, when you do this kind of thing, you are running a risk, though, aren't you? Because some of these are organised criminal gangs.
Yes, they are, but they are thousands of miles away, and they are terrible cowards. I've spoken to lots of other baiters during my career as a baiter, and there's been no case of a scammer successfully hurting a baiter.